Hi, welcome to a new session of dividend policy and dividend payment decisions. In the previous session, we discussed Walter's dividend theory model, which was the relevance of dividend theory. Today, we're going to start discussing on Gordon's dividend theory model, which is again in the same line with that of Walter's model. Gordon is also of the view that dividend payment is relevant for stock prices, and firms management must keep in mind how much dividend shall be paid, when a dividend shall be paid, etc. So let's start discussing Gordon's model with assumptions. Gordon's growth model says that dividend policy is relevant, but he makes certain assumptions like the firm should be an all equity firm, no debt is issued by the firm, no external financing is made available. That means, again, like Walter's, retained earnings or firm's own profits can be reinvested into new projects. Rate of return R is constant. Cost of equity is also constant, and the growth rate can be calculated with the formula that G is equal to BR. B is the retention ratio of dividend profits multiplied by cost of rate of return. So generally it says that cost of return should be greater than G. K should be greater than growth of capital. The firm has a perpetual life, so we are looking at a long-term horizon. Corporate taxes do not exist. So both these assumptions are same as that of Walter's model. So both the models are quite similar, and they also assume that dividend policy is relevant, but unlike Walter's model, Gordon proposes a slightly different methodology of calculation and estimation of stock prices. So let's go into details how estimation is done. The estimation is like this: EPS into 1 minus B, where B is the retention ratio. So that's 1 minus dividend payout. So this means if dividend payout is 50%, retention would be 0.5 or 50%. If dividend payment is 60%, retention will be 40%. So if one goes up, dividend payout goes up, retention will be lower. P is price of stock, is earnings, BR is growth, so B is the retention ratio, and R is the rate of return required, D is dividend per share. So it's a straightforward formula, but only difference that has come here is that this is solely dependent upon the growth rate, and also this model assumes that cost of equity for the firm is much greater than the growth rate that can be achieved by the firm. So in a sense, KE is assumed to be greater than BR. Valuation of stock can be done through this formula. P, price of stock, is D0, dividend right now, into 1 plus G, 1 plus growth rate, divided by K minus G. So K minus G on the whole is a positive amount because K is always greater than 1. This formula says that the market value of the stock is equal to present value of all the dividends that is expected to be received by the shareholder in the foreseeable future. So it is a long-term time horizon again, and growth rate remains constant. K also remains constant, but dividend keeps on growing from each year by the percentage of G. Like the Walters model, we're taking the same amounts. EPS is $10. Cost of equity is cost of capital K is 10%. Dividend payouts are the same as last time, and the rate of returns are 10, 20, 15 and 7 like last time. So we can find the value of the stock prices. We have already calculated the stock prices like last time. You can see here EPS is 10, 50% payout, so that's retention ratio would be 1 minus 0.5 divided by 10%, that is cost of equity, minus 0.15, that is rate of return, multiplied by the retention ratio. The price is 200. If retention is lower, price is lower. If retention is lower, price is again lower. So keeping the rate constant, if payout is increasing, prices are decreasing. Here for 7%, if the payout is 75%, price is 91. Payout is 50, price is 77. For 20%, 75% payout, 25% retention, price is 150. 100% payment, price is 100. 0% payment, price is 0. So if no dividend is paid, then the upper part of the ratio, upper part of the equation becomes 0. So you can calculate it carefully by using the formula. We have summarized it. So here K is 10. So it is equal to 10. Here R is less than K. Here R is greater than K. So you can see for the same payouts, retention ratio increases. Prices, you can see when 0 dividend payout is given, all the rate of returns have 0 price. That means under Gordon's model, even if dividend is relevant, so that shows that if you don't pay dividend, then stockholders are not willing to pay any price for the stock. So under this model, if a company is expected to pay 0 dividend, stock price would be 0, market price of the stock would be 0, and nobody is going to purchase the stock. That means you have to pay more than 0 dividend. But if R is equal to K, all other options are coming to the same price, same conclusion of 100. So under Gordon model also, if R is equal to K, it doesn't matter whether you pay 50% dividend payout or 0% dividend payout. So retention ratio, remaining whatever, you are not paying anything more than 100 or anything less than 100. But as soon as you go into R is less than K, that's R is 7%, K is 10%, price is 77 at 50% payout, so retention of 50%, price is lowest, retention of 0, price is 91 and 100 respectively. This means higher the payout, higher the prices for R is less than K. Here R is less than K. But here R is greater than K on both these circumstances, and you can see price is the highest when lowest dividends are paid. This is same as Walter's model. So we can say that if R is equal to K, price remains constant at $100. But 0 dividend payment, price becomes 0 under all the cases. If R is greater than pay less dividend. So share prices are decreasing when DP is increased. So pay less dividend to increase stock prices if it is a growth firm. If it is a declining firm, pay highest dividend because stock prices are increasing when DP is increased. So we can summarize: for growth firms, retain all, paid 0 dividend, that increases, maximizes stock prices. For a normal prices, DP is irrelevant, price is similar, constant at $100, except when the firm is paying 0 dividend. For declining firm, when R is less than K, distribute highest earnings as dividend, retain 0. So methods of Walters and methods of Gordon are bringing us to similar conclusions, that relevant dividend policies will be able to maximize stock prices of firms. So Gordon's findings are very similar to Walter's. This similarity is due to the similar underlying assumptions like cost of equity, rate of returns, and no debt and no new issue, and all the new expansion and new project can be undertaken only with respect to retained earnings. So this means both Gordon and Walters are able to decipher that stock prices are relevant if the management follows a particular dividend policy. So if a particular dividend policy is followed, identifying the firms as a normal firm, growth firm, or a declining firm, stock prices and consequently stockholders' wealth can be maximized. So we have come to conclusion of today's discussion. This is a unsolved question. You can solve it on your free time. I can provide you guidance in the form of an answer if you write to me through a mail or WhatsApp. So that's it for today. Kindly write to me providing your issues, problems, and what you can't understand, so you can modify, and also I can send you more details about documents, formulas. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video. See you next time. Bye bye.